The number one reason students get bad grades is because they don't study, obviously, but the number one reason students don't study is because it just feels pointless. You study 5 hours and stay up all night the day before just to fail your final and get a bad grade in the class. But there is a way to fix this, because studying isn't pointless if you just know how. Last year, I thought I had the perfect method for getting good grades. I even made videos about what I was doing. But it all ended in failure anyway. I got mediocre results at the end of the year, and I wish I could say I found the one thing that immediately made my results turn around. But getting good grades is a bit more complicated. Just blindly answering homework questions and following study guides don't mean anything if you can't really understand it. So in my mind, you can break up your classes into 3 categories to help you do better in those specific classes and save you so much time. You have memorization classes, understanding classes, and just busy work classes. If you can break your classes up into one of these 3 categories, then you can easily understand what you have to do to pass. Memorization classes are the ones where most of your quizzes are just going to be based off memorizing things, like dates or equations. There's just a large amount of things you simply have to know. Sure, there's some deeper understanding things you might need, but you could pretty much get by just using flashcards and Quizlet. Some examples are chemistry and certain history classes, where you just need to know dates and formulas. These are the easiest classes in my mind, but don't underestimate them. Memorizing topics isn't the easiest thing, so there's a few things you can do to make it easier. Make sure you put actual time and effort into making your flashcards, because if they're not good, it won't matter how much you can remember them. And once you have the flashcards, make sure you're using them all of the time. Because yeah, you could sit down and do flashcards and memorize things for 2 hours straight, but you'd forget it all within 30 minutes. The thing is, when you're trying to ingrain something into your head so you can recall it later, it's better to actively try to recall it, to practice the act of remembering it. So just doing a few cards throughout the day helps you to put it into your mind and then recall it later. You don't want to do flashcards all at once. You should be actively doing them throughout the day. Have the Quizlet or the Anki app front and center on your phone. But second are classes where you really have to understand the topic. There are no shortcuts in these classes. You just need to know it. Classes like math or any language course. You can't get fluent or know how to do math fast by just memorizing, but you can make sure you don't waste any of your time studying. So work on only the things you know will be on the test. If you're having a Unit 1 test, chances are not everything from Unit 1 will be on it, and if it is, it won't be in the same quantity. Some things will come up more than others, and they should be given more of your attention. A simple check back at old homework or your notes can tell you what is going to be tested more, and then take those things and make sure you really understand them, using things like immersion for languages, where you listen to songs in that language, or look at everyday objects and try and recall what they are, or use practice tests, which is the easiest way to track how well you understand it, by grading the test and seeing how well you did. You could easily submit your notes to like ChatGPT and ask it to make you a practice test, or you can find some online. Finally, there's the worst type of class, busy work classes, where the teacher genuinely wants you to suffer. They give you assignments that don't teach you much, but take so much time. These are classes like English, where they'll give you 10-page essays due tonight at 11:59. But the secret to making it through classes like this is actually just not to do all of the work. Now, hear me out. Like I said, the work teaches you a little bit and makes you work a lot. So do it until you understand what it's trying to teach you. That should be what you're focusing on, because normally classes like this, the teacher is trying to drill something down your throat. They either want you to learn their way of writing an essay, or like how to do a works cited and good research. Once you understand how to do those things down pat the way they want, it doesn't matter how much of the rest of the work you do. You can breeze through it without really giving a second thought, or even just have AI do it, honestly. It doesn't matter much unless it's an assessment type of assignment that actually counts towards your test scores, because that's when you just have to do the work and prove that you know what you've learned. I do lots of other things like swim and making YouTube videos. So I have not that much time for school, even though it's my priority. But you don't ever need more than 2 hours a day to get the perfect grades if you simply know the secret to studying effectively, or whatever the title says. Well, you've made it to the end. So don't just let these 3 to 4 minutes go to waste. Get the grades you want and make it happen.